related censorship topic, but I want to bring this on screen. This is Kitchen Counter blog from blogger Alistair Kitchen. You'll find it on Substack. Now, he was detained last week upon arrival at Los Angeles airport and deported back to Melbourne, where he lives, having been held in custody for 12 hours. He says that the United States border officials told him it was because of what he has written in the past on pro-Palestine protests by university students in the United States. He said he left Melbourne on Thursday, bound for New York, and was stopped and interrogated by US Customs and Border Protection officials during his stopover in Los Angeles. And he said he was clearly targeted for politically motivated reasons. And he said that the staff there spent 30 minutes questioning him about his views on Israel and Palestine, including his thoughts on Hamas. Now, this is very similar behavior to that of the British counterterrorism police at British airports, except, of course, in the cases that we're aware of, at least, people weren't deported afterwards because they were mainly British people. But anyway, I've got to mention that they were waiting for me when I got off the plane in New York recently, not with the same outcome. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in extra. But anyway, getting back to Kitchen, he said he had cleaned up his online presence, expecting ad hoc digital sweeps before he went on holiday or to the trip to New York, but he was not prepared for their sophistication. And because it didn't matter that he had cleared his digital profile. In the meantime, they had clearly historical information. And he is alleging that this sophisticated approach from them was almost certainly facilitated by Palantir. And he has said that if you're deleting social media 48 hours before your flight to the United States, it's already too late. He said that his phone contents were immediately downloaded on threat of deportation, but that in retrospect, he should have denied the search and accepted immediate deportation. He said that in general, he was too compliant, too trusting, and too hopeful. So this is clearly something which is transatlantic in nature, and I think it's a very negative and very totalitarian approach that both governments seem to be taking.
Well, it's a window into what the governments really are, be it in the US or here in the UK, Mike. So at least this stuff is coming up to the surface. Any idea we're in a democracy is completely false now in 2025. And this is just another example of the sorts of pressures the state is going to put you under if you dare to disagree with the state. I think it's that simple.
Diane, let's finish then with a story from the Daily Mail.
Yeah, so this is something that a lovely UK column member sent to me early this morning. This was in the Daily Mail over the weekend about the Bilderberg meeting happening in Sweden right now. And it says that if you read the article further on, it sort of talks about how they infiltrated the 2018 Bilderberg meeting, the first time an undercover journalist ever managed to do so, gaining insights about the meeting's inner workings. Now, I think that our own Mark Anderson would have something to say about that because he's been covering the Bilderbergs for much longer than that. And even going back to Charlie Skilton, who covered the Bilderbergs for The Guardian starting in 2009. So I just thought it was a really, really kind of darkly funny example of one of the lies that mainstream media tries to put in front of us.
Yes.
Yeah, my comment on it is this is more signs of the mainstream media trying to adapt to look like new media. So they are sliding across. The BBC's doing this, Times Radio in particular, putting out material which has got a slightly amateur tinge to it because they are so desperately worried about the exposure. So I think there's a lot in that article, Diane. I think that brings us to the end of today's news. Diane, Mike, thank you very much for joining me. Huge thank you to our audience wherever you are in the world. And once again, a huge, huge thank you to everybody who's taken out membership and is helping to fund UK Column and help us do what we do. We couldn't do it without you. Thanks very much for joining us. Bye-bye.